22 years of waiting, 22 years of banter, 22 years of near misses. Tonight on this particular episode, I'm joined by Joe Andruvuli and the man himself, Mutebi Robert. Mutebi.
Yeah.
Robert, the man himself. Congratulations, first of all.
I know, congratulations, mate.
Arsenal, after 22 years, are finally champions.
Yeah.
Joe Andruvuli, United fans there for us. What do you have to say about this particular achievement of the Arsenal? Has Mikel Arteta finally completed the rebuild after 6 years of, a project that has been unbelievably built over the years?
I think he has done a good job. Yeah. 6 years from where he found the team. Remember, Arsenal was a laughing subject. Yeah. I remember that banter back then. Nowadays, we tend to pray for those moments. Those days, you'd see it coming. Yeah, as a United fan,
you pray for the old moments.
Yeah, we used to have those moments almost all the time. Nowadays, we pray that they lose, they get. So I believe, he has done quite a good job, and I think the value for money it's beginning to show.
Maybe investments.
It's
from
been
the owners.
Yeah, it's been. I think he has amongst the highest net spends currently for any manager. So I think they're beginning to see the benefits. Yeah, so I think next weekend,
Champions League.
Champions League final.
But before we head into the Champions League final, let's hear what Robert has to say. Has Mikel Arteta finally completed the rebuild of the Arsenal Football Club? You, as a staunch Arsenal fan, of course, the world knows it. You appeared on AFTV, and it's now your chance to tell the ordinary Ugandan. Has Mikel Arteta finally completed the rebuild of Arsenal Football Club?
Yeah, first of all, I wanna thank you, Isaac, for. I first met Isaac at some fan TV at Kati when we were watching Newcastle, wasn't it? And then when we were lining up to do the interviews, you were supposed to do after me, and then and then I think you didn't that night. You did later. You actually did, but not as large as I think I had already gone. But it was an honor to be together then as an Arsenal family. It was an honor to have Arsenal Fan TV come over in Uganda and Africa, especially Uganda, because now, by the way, I think Arsenal has marketed this country in these couple of months better than anything, because even the guys that are doing parades. You've seen them in Bali, and then I've seen guys in Ginger organizing, even in the city here. It's on ESPN, it's on CNN. You know what I mean? So I think we need a medal on the Heroes Day. Yes, no, but it's it is. So whoever is responsible, check that out. But I'm happy to be on your channel, Isaac and Joel. Thanks for the work you do here, and obviously we're gonna be able to do this anytime we have an opportunity. I think Mikel Arteta has, for me, been absolutely fantastic. When he came, what people don't realize is that a football club of Arsenal stature, with a legendary manager like Arsene Wenger, them shoes are always incredibly big to be filled by anybody. People at Man United never knew, what it actually meant until Ferguson left. But exactly, it's 13 years now, and they've gone through a lot of football coaches, but they can't cut it. We faced the same predicament when Arsene Wenger came and just literally owned everything. He was an economic professor, so he was not only doing football on the pitch, but he was also going to the boardroom and making sure that they were running a lean budget in terms of it was his vision that we got the Emirates built. Can you imagine a football manager coming from training and telling the board that I'm ready to work with limited budget players amid this competition, but I'll be able to stay afloat for the sake of expanding from Highbury to Emirates. So once that was done, we were always going to struggle with the next person. Of course, we got a couple of them. Unai Emery was the latest. I didn't like him. I didn't like him. I don't like Unai Emery. I think he's Arsenal wasn't. By the time he came to us, we needed someone who first of all has an idea about patience. He's never been patient wherever he's been. You know what I mean? He wins. Has won the Europa League. He's one of the most successful managers in the Europa League. But he has not been able to build a football club at the level of Arsenal Football Club and retain the players, the level of players that we have there, the Bayos, the Seth Fabregases, keeping them around at a lean budget. It's never easy, but we needed someone who was ready and had that expertise of building the club from where Wenger left us to now competing. Arteta came in 2019 and he started from scratch. 2020, he finished 8th. In 2020, even 2021 in COVID, still 8th. That for me is progress because you've been able to walk in and steady the ship. That because the players were not his players. And then eventually 2022, he started, getting rid of dead wood and people that he thought he deemed surplus to Aubameyang. Exactly. Those are players that Unai Emery couldn't afford to manage. You know what I mean? And yet Arteta comes in and says, I can take the risk and get rid of him for the sake of a bigger picture. And then 2022, we went, I think, 5th. Was it 5th or 4th? Yes. And then every single season after that, we were close to winning it. Forget about Kizaka. We were close to winning it. Not just second. The second, when it's a lackluster second. But we were close to winning it. Not just in 2023. 2024, we nearly got there. But because we had never won it for so long, the pressure at the running, at the final games, it always breaks you. And he had to learn his way as well as a manager. And that's the thing we talked about when in the Newcastle game in the post-match. The most important person for me at this stage is always the manager at the tail end of the season. How you manage both at the running, at the top of the league, but also at the bottom. Have you seen Sammy Allardyce? He used to be recruited by so many fighting relegation because he had the expertise and the bottle to actually manage that huge pressure, not just on the players, but also on the owners. The fans were calling for David Moyes' head just because they felt they were not progressing. And then the board got rid of him. See what happened? They got rid of him. Before they knew it, they're fighting relegation and they have been relegated. So Arteta, I can't praise him hard enough or long enough. I think I'm happy. I love you, Arteta. I think you saved us big time, man, because we were turning into a laughing stock, Isaac. By the way, this guy, 22 years was a long time. But I think I'm happy that he came in and cracked the code and we've won it, finally.
Did Arteta use a cheat code to crack the
No, he didn't. He was the best. He was so lucky. First of all, he was coached by one of the best managers there is in Arsene Wenger. At the peak of his career, Arteta, from Dave Moyes. And Dave Moyes, by the way, before Dave Moyes, he was at PSG as well. So that's a good start. But then and then Barcelona. So he got a good foundation for starters, and then he got good coaches. So after, I remember Arsene Wenger in 2015 saying that Arteta has to do coaching. 2015, he wasn't a player. He must have seen traits of a potential coach. And then who better to practically start learning your coaching journey than Pep Guardiola? After he hung up the boots at Arsenal, I felt, but I hated him actually for going to City to be a backroom staff. But then we actually benefited because Guardiola, he watched the best do it under pressure, but also turning normal players into world beaters like Foden. And then when he came at Arsenal, I think cracking the code for me it was just about time. And I thank the board for letting him be, because that's another problem as well. The board of directors running not just football clubs, but even organizations, they want results immediately. But they were able to give him time and try his game and finally paid off.
Yeah, so let me ask a Man United fan, Joan Rivoli.
Yes, please.
So Joe, do you think this Arsenal team has what it takes to dominate Europe for the next 5 years?
I really don't think so. The short answer is I don't think so.
Why? Why don't you think it's
a United fan?
It's a United
The short answer is I don't think so. I don't think the style of football Arsenal is currently playing.
Is it sustainable?
It's not sustainable.
Why don't you
Yeah.
think so?
I think you have seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The current style suits the Premier League best. Yeah. In Premier League, they'll be able to, let's say, have a better longevity with this current way they are playing. Yeah. The players are young. Yeah. They'll be able to manage. However, when it crosses to Europe, I think it's going to be different.
But
Yeah.
Mikel has nominated Europe this season.
No,
Unbeaten in the
yeah,
Champions
this season
League.
he's unbeaten.
You
But-
know, with most clean
yeah.
sheets, you know, quite a good run
Okay.
compared to
Yeah.
the domestic, you know.
Yeah.
games.
All right, group stages. Let's start with the group stages. Yeah, group
Games.
stages. Yeah, I mean the league phase, the group. Yeah, the league phase. He had, I would say he had a good start. It was a good campaign at the league phase. Yeah, but when you look at the opposition that he has played, come to the knockout stages. I mean, this would be like tier 2 teams. Yeah, back in the day, these would be teams playing Europa. Yeah. Currently, they are Champions League teams. Yeah, he has had quite an easy run, with the exception of maybe Atletico. He has had quite an easy run. Yeah, but I believe PSG is going to be the real test that he will have. If he can show us how to contain and beat PSG, I think maybe I'll change my mind then. But currently, no, I don't think this style is it's going to last that long. Then we also need to an issue of transfers. Yeah. These players are going to reach a point and they are no longer hungry. Right now, they are very hungry. Yeah, they want to win. They want to win. Yeah, so they have won the Premier League. They have tasted that glory. Yeah, in case they do well in Champions League, yeah, in case they win it, that hunger is definitely going to disappear.
But we have seen teams like Real Madrid go on to win, you know, for 3 consecutive times. How are they able to do that? So for me, I think the hunger is going to actually grow more and more. Let us know what you think. Do you think the Arsenal Football Club has what it takes to dominate Europe for the next 5 years? Share your comments in the comment section. Let us know what your thoughts are for this particular episode.